What was something embarrassing that you did, tried to hide, but got caught anyway? NSW. First time I trimmed my pubes, I tried being all sneaky about it and used a pair of scissors so nobody would hear the electric razor. I dumped the pubes in the toilet and shut the lid. A few hours later the family and I are at the dinner table and my sister pulled out her phone and brought up a picture of all my pubes in the toilet. I forgot to flush. My dad was trying so hard to hold in his laugh. My mom just let the laugh out and my sister had that look of satisfaction of embarrassing me. You should have asked her why she had taken a picture of her pubes. Well, I took a condom a friend offered me for a party. I didn't use it. I didn't want anyone in the house to know. So naturally I tried to hide it. Mum found it, was shocked, but my dad reassured her that one condom is a lifetime supply cause I play too much Battlefield. Sick burn, dad. So I really hated hard-boiled eggs as a kid, but my parents insisted on my eating one every morning because health or something. I tried throwing it away once or twice but got caught, so my parents knew to be wary for any child shenanigans. What could I do? I couldn't take it to school and dispose of it there. If I got caught doing that I'd be a weirdo. I couldn't hide it somewhere not the trash can because it would rot and get awful. One day my parents left to go to work and I had about a 5-minute window. Then I noticed the roof. Oh my god. Yes. Throw the egg on the roof. Out of sight. Out of mind. A bird will probably eat it or something. Perfect crime. I did that for 2-3 days and was very proud of myself. And then about a week later I hear my dad mentioning needing to change the roof shingles on the house. Maybe the hypothetical birds ate all the eggs. Or maybe the roofer guy came down with a plastic bag and a weird look and said you had all these hard-boiled eggs on your roof. And my parents slowly turned to look at me and I wanted to die right then. A bird will probably eat it or something. That's some weird kind of cannibalism there. When I was a kid my parents used to get the Adam and Eve sex catalog where you could order adult toys and DVDs. The 90s woo. So one day I found a bag of old flyers and crap that they were throwing out. And for some reason I looked inside and it had a bunch of these catalogs in them. So I took like 4 other and hid them under a drawer in my dresser. So I would dig them out when it was gentleman's time. I was probably 13 at the time, and one day my mom was helping me clean my room to donate some clothes and she fully pulled out the bottom drawer of the dresser and found my stash of P catalogs and made me throw them out. In hindsight not really that bad, but at the time I was like a freaking deer in headlights. I was talking about how there was a new pretty co-worker to my boss, when said co-worker was in my peripheral vision. Tried to hide it by saying it was someone else. And walked away. She was 23, I was 16, and my face was red. When I was about 10, my dad was dating the woman of a girl I went to school with. Circumstances led to me having to sleep over their house. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I ended up crapping my pants. I was able to hide my underwear in my bag, and I had other clothes so I figured I was good. The next morning, while we were sitting down for breakfast, the girl and her sisters came running down, with my tighty whities on a stick screaming he pooped his pants. Absolutely horrifying. The woman of a girl just sounds weird. I know what you meant to type, but still funny. One time my wife and I went grocery shopping and my wife was like, I wanna make some chocolate milk. I haven't had any in so long. So she got some Hershey syrup and a gallon of milk. We went home, watched TV, went to bed. Only I couldn't sleep. I had something on my mind. See, I had been silent about the whole chocolate milk situation, but the fact was, when she mentioned making chocolate milk, I got very excited. It had been years for me as well. So I got up, went into the kitchen, made myself a glass of chocolate milk, and Jesus Christ it was delicious. My mother was a cruel woman. Cruel to the point of telling me I could have 1 glass of chocolate milk and not letting me have any more till the next day. Well, mommy ain't home tonight. Josh is grown up and married. Josh has pubes now. Josh goes to work. Josh is having all the goddamn chocolate milk he wants. So I poured another glass, and another, and another. When all was said and done, more than half the gallon was gone, as was a sizable chunk of the chocolate syrup. Josh was beginning to feel sick. I went into the bathroom and vomited. Got a little on the dog, but she was okay with it. I felt gravely embarrassed about having drank so much chocolate milk and vomiting on the dog. I decided to throw out the gallon and the chocolate. I figured I could just tell my wife we must have left them on the counter at the grocery store, as I had been the one who put the groceries away. The next morning my wife was peeved to find all the milk and chocolate gone. I tried to say we left them, but she was far too smart for that. You probably drank 5 or 6 glasses of the crap, and then vomited, and then threw it away to hide the evidence. Somebody was vomiting last night. It woke me up. I hung my head low and apologized. She hugged me and told me I was an idiot. I hope that she made you go back to the store to get more milk and syrup. Went on a vacation with friends' family as a hormonal, barely 15-year-old. Shared the same room as my friend. Fapped in the same room as friend. Friend, dude, what are you doing? Me, scratching. Continued to fap all week. Yeah, my friends called me out on that till I drunkenly admitted to it 5 years down the line. The worst part is they were talking about something else and I thought they were pressuring me to fess up to it due to drunken misunderstanding. So I confessed my shame. I never really thought about why she bought the old place. I mean, I know her grandma meant a lot to her, but okay, fine. I admit I jerked off next to you on vacation. I worked at a really small shop as a teenager, and towards the end of the night, 9 PM or 10 PM or so, the lone toilet broke. Of course I needed to take a crap but couldn't. We closed shop shortly after midnight, and I started my walk home. By the time I was on my walk home, the crap I needed to do had become an emergency. I'm trying to walk faster, but that seems to make me need go worse. So I slow down. My stomach is going through intervals between a scale of OMFG you must empty now and you should go to the bathroom soon. Each time on the slope I feel better. I try to run a little, just to get home sooner. Eventually, maybe a quarter mile only from home, I let some out totally unintentionally. But it feels glorious. My body is furiously trying to expel what I've got in me, but I just want to make it that last little bit to get home. More escapes, outside of my control. But at least a bit of the pressure is finally relieved. I never realized crapping your pants could feel so good. When I finally get home, I've got about a fistful in my pants, and I just want to get inside and get cleaned up. Thankfully I'm wearing tighty whities which is keeping the mess mostly contained. I try the door handle but it is locked for the first time all summer. I can tell my dad is watching TV in the other room so I knock on the door so he can let me in. He takes his sweet time. He finally gets to the door and opens it. Hey Fiduk, how was work? Your mother and I are watching this good movie. It's about this and that and has all of these cool scenes. Me, Dad, I've got to use the bathroom. Dad, okay yeah sure, just listen to this scene we watched where this and that happened. It was amazing. Hey, it's a really nice night out tonight, isn't it? He just stands there talking to me while I'm holding my butt with one hand trying to contain the nastiness that is in my pants. I nod and go aha to everything he is saying to just get inside as quick as possible. But my dad just wants to be chatty while blocking the door and I'm still standing outside. Some more squirts out, and now it's definitely liquid. I really don't want to drop a massive diarrhea bomb on my porch while talking to my dad. And since I'm 60 seconds, tops, from that dreadful situation coming to life, I decide to just rush into the house. Still with one hand containing the disaster in my pants, my other hand pushes my dad's arm off the door frame he was leaning against. I rush into the house and go straight to the bathroom. My dad seems angry and shouts, "Hey, what gives? Why are you running? What is?" I finally barely hear him say no. As I close the bathroom door, I can only presume he got a wonderful view of me holding my pants with a large wet spot in the back, and plenty of brownness. When I was younger I drew a glory hole as detailed as my 10-year-old brain could remember from those black and white P-mags under my dad's bed. I would whack off to my masterpiece and then my mom found it. We still haven't talked about it to this day. Only like 10% of kids do it. When I was about 12 years old we had this family reunion. No, this story isn't going where your perverted minds want it to go. The reunion was in this beautiful mountain area, in this little line of cabins. My parents rented the cabin at the far end, and one evening most of the family, myself included, were hanging out in the cabin at the other end of the line. There's only one bathroom in these cabins, and it's connected to the kitchen where everyone is hanging out and chatting. Suddenly my stomach gurgles like mad and I know I have some diarrhea about to happen. I don't want to use the toilet though because I'm too embarrassed that everyone would hear me. So I decide to try and wait it out and see if it will go away. It works for a bit but then suddenly the diarrhea feeling comes back with a vengeance. And now someone is in the bathroom. Frick. I sneak out of the house and start walking back to my parents' cabin. I get maybe 1/4 of the way there when I realize there's no way I'll make it if I just walk, so I start running. I get to the front door, but before I can open it I crap my pants. Badly. It even got in my socks. Probably about 10 minutes later my parents notice I'm missing and walk back to their cabin to see if I'm there. They open the door and find me, crying, trying to wash the crap out of my jeans, underwear and socks in the sink. They were really cool about it though, and threw the clothes away and never even told my older brother about it. Thank God. Props to your parents. Went swimming when I was about 10. When I finished, I picked up all my stuff out of the locker and went into a cubicle to get changed. Hadn't realized I dropped my knickers in transit. Not just any knickers, Barbie knickers. A few girls a bit older than me in the changing room started throwing them around to one another and laughing. 10-year-old me was devastated. When I was 10 I used to steal my sister's Barbies and put them in copulating positions with my G.I. Joes all naked. One day while playing out my prepubescent fantasy my dad knocked on my bedroom door, so I freaked out and threw the Barbies and G.I. Joes into my closet. He heard me slam the door, so he walked in and looked in the closet and found a naked G.I. Joe wrapped around a naked Barbie. Good times. I once got a BJ in a closet at a party. It was pitch black so I couldn't see anything, and when the time came, the girl abruptly pulled away and I accidentally finished all over my own shirt. I tried to wipe it off, but to no avail, and then had to walk around pretending like I wasn't covered in my own milky shame. 8 years old, riding my bike, and farted. Ended up being a huge corny shot. Went directly home refusing to sit on the seat. Hid the underwear at the top of my closet so no one would ever find it. Took my dad 5 minutes to wonder why I came home from the park early. Took less time to smell why and I confessed. TLDR. Crap my pants. Hid underwear in my closet. Dad found out using super dad senses. When I was younger I went through Q-tips like crazy. I used them to clean my nose, my ears, my teeth, whatever I felt needed cleaning, sometimes multiple times a day. Embarrassed of how many Q-tips I used and not wanting to get in trouble I started flushing them down the toilet. The toilet got backed up so they called a plumber. When they questioned me I blamed it on a neighbor kid that visited a lot. They reamed her out and never let her over again. When she spoke to me about it I said it must have been my brother. I never got caught but I sure as heck was more careful after that. When I was about 12 I used up all of my parents' toner printing out lady pics. I got interrogated about it and I refused to crack. The next day before my parents got home, I burned the pictures as best I could and stuffed them into the trash can. When my mom got home, she freaked about the house smelling like fire, found the pictures and busted out laughing. The rents got a kick out of it and I was embarrassed as heck. Haha, this was the best one. When I was 13 I tried to smoke some bay leaves, got paranoid, ran around in circles in my room and broke my speakers. They say bay leaves are a gateway herb. Soon you will be shooting up nutmeg. Mustaches are not generally attractive on women. I have a slight one that I use now to get rid of whenever it comes back. Freshman year of college both my roommates were going to be out, so I used the time to myself to take care of my stash. One of them unexpectedly came back so I ran to the bathroom. I wiped it off but she still asked me what I was doing and what was on my face. So I told her and then she told me she just waxes hers. So we ended up laughing about it. My junior year of high school I joined the cross-country team because my friend said it was fun and practice started early August at 6 in the morning. So the workout was perimeters where we run around the school a couple of times. Each time is 2.5 miles and on my second perimeter I have to poop, so I run up to the track and ask my coach if I could use the bathroom. He told me to hurry up because we are gonna stretch soon. I start to speed walk to the bathroom, which was kinda far from the track, and about halfway to the hallway door I crap my pants. But there was more poop. At this point I sprint down a long butt hallway, borderline liquid poop dripping from my short shorts, bust open the bathroom door only to find the bathroom is pitch black. I shuffle my way into the biggest stall, and at this point I either go out there half naked or pull my pants down and crap into the abyss. So I crap into the dark. I didn't even make it near the toilet. I spend a good amount of time looking for the toilet paper dispenser, find it, clean myself as good as I can and head back outside. I take a back way to the front of the school where the soccer field is, grab some mud and smear it on my leg where the crap was and some grass to make it look like my shoe did it. I make 2 stretches and we do the butterfly one and the poop smell seeps from my thighs. People start staring and see the crap that covers the inner part of my thighs. Freaking short shorts. You tried. Here's mine. I used to sneak pee from my uncle. I basically had to go downstairs. It was another 1-level apartment type place. He hid the VHS behind his bar. One night I was returning a video and he was in the room around the corner. With a small flashlight I inched my way behind the bar, trying not to make any noise, but then he came out hearing something. I covered the light and froze, and I do mean freaking froze. He stopped right by the bar, looking just over me to the entrance of the place. He saw nothing, and just when he turned to leave he spotted me there. What happened next was the most amazing butt whipping my mom ever gave me after finding out. I had a lot of paintings in my room. I hid P images and my Eminem Marshall Mathers CD on the frames behind the pictures. My dad checked one day and found all my crap. Jerkin it. A few years back a few friends and I decided to take some mushrooms and have some fun during the summer. We had been smoking weed for a while that day and took the mushrooms in the evening. I was pretty baked and had a crazy body high. Probably about an hour after taking the mushrooms I start to get an even crazier body high. I don't smoke anymore, but one of my favorite things about smoking weed was masturbating while baked out of my mind. I had also never masturbated on mushrooms before and hatched a brilliant scheme to go rub one out before my friends and I really started to trip. My 2 friends were down in the basement watching the last few minutes of Lord of the Rings. So I excused myself to go upstairs to my room and try to explore what jerking off while super baked and on mushrooms would be like. I pull up a video and get myself situated at my desk, which is right next to my door. I go about my business and start to become very distracted by various elements that were not pee. Not great for keeping my soldier upright. This is more difficult than I expected. I pull up my all-time favorite video and set my sights on trying to finish. I'm tripping pretty hard at this point and kind of lose track of time. Prior to this I had turned the sound off, but now I'm using headphones. The sound is incredible. The visuals are getting crazy. I feel like I'm in the video. I was in my room for about 45 minutes and it felt like 5. Understandably, one of my friends was curious about where I had gone and came up to find me. I thought I had locked my door, but in my inebriated state didn't close it all the way. One of my friends came in right as I was about to finish. I was incredibly startled by him coming in. I closed my laptop and stood up so fast trying to pull my pants up that I almost knocked my desk over. I stammered out I was just changing, but there was no hiding it. He definitely knew, but luckily we've been friends for years and he didn't care. We had a laugh and went hiking. TLDR. Wanted to jerk off on mushrooms. Got too distracted and spent way too much time trying to finish. Concerned friend comes to find me. Never found out what finishing on shrooms feels like. I do it in the fresh produce aisle at the supermarket all the time. It's great. My grandparents found out I was fricking my boyfriend at the time. A shitstorm ensued. I am 18 years old, still afraid to get caught masturbating. When I was 17 I was at a 4th of July house party and I had hooked up with one of the young ladies there. We went into my friend's elder brother's room, locked the door and proceeded to get busy. Welp, it was the first time I had ever been with a squirter. In fact I didn't even know that was a thing and assumed she had peed all over me. She was on top and it got everywhere. It soaked this guy's bed. When we finished up I didn't really know what to do, so I flipped his mattress and remade the bed, went back out to the party and had a good time. Women talk too, so I wound up getting a pretty good rep from the whole encounter. I had all but forgotten about it at the beginning of the school year when that guy's older brother kicked the crap out of me on the first day of school for fricking up his bed. It was worth the ass kicking to be honest, but it was 3 years later that I learned she did not pee, and that was why I had girls that wouldn't give me the time of day before starting to talk to me. I always cry at a happy ending. When I was a teen I masturbated fantasizing about my cousin and googled exactly that, because I was weirded out by what I just done, and a bit curious about did anyone else had any similar experience. I googled it on an old Nokia, and I didn't know how to delete search history. Long story short, my brother saw that and mocked me. I shrugged it off, said something like it were my stupid frisky classmates freaking around with my phone, and he somehow believed me. Or maybe he didn't but tried to make it look like he did. I prefer it that way anyway. I used to never pee standing up, unless at a urinal. So one time I went to a relative's house and had to really pee, so 14-year-old me just starts peeing without putting the toilet seat up. I had no idea that the pee would go everywhere like that, so before I had time to react and adjust my aim I had already peed on the ground toilet seat. So I panicked and took a towel that was being dried and wiped all of the pee and then casually hanged it back, hoping ping 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 ping. I got drunk and pee the bed and all over my girlfriend. Like, I pee all over her. It was around 4 AM, so I knew she wasn't leaving anytime soon. I didn't know what to do, and just lay there for hours trying to block her from the wetness, which was almost the entire bed. She finally got up to go to the bathroom. When she was in, I took off the fitted sheets and laid some clothes over the spot the best I could and laid down on top of the urine, which was all over the bed, so she had about 1 foot of dry space to sleep. She kept telling me to move over and quit hogging the bed. We started to actually fight about it and I just blew up. Fine, I pee the freaking bed. I remember once when I first started my period, I thought it was pee or something, and what more, I was out watching a soccer match with my dad. God, that man can't handle blood for heaven's sake. So I was so embarrassed and scared because I thought my organs came out and it's starting to bleed out my butt. Because that's where crap come out after everything, right? Anyway, I was wearing bright red pants and there was a huge dark red patch in the middle of the back, and I was like, crap, dad's gonna see this and he's gonna crap bricks. So I decided to try cover it up by not letting my dad see the back of me. So I was walking awkwardly when I went back to the game. After that, we were about to leave. I stood up and started to go when this lady went, "Hey, you have blood on your pants," and my dad saw because I was walking out of the stadium and he was behind me, and he went all white and started freaking out. Remember when I said he couldn't handle blood, especially not that much blood? And he was like hyperventilating so much so that the lady who pointed out my bloodied pants had to calm him down and tell him it's nothing because it's just period blood, 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 just period blood. It was so embarrassing for me because everyone around was just looking at me and my dad freaking out. TLDR. Got my period. Dad, who has a phobia of blood spots that is bigger than our index finger, started freaking out while another lady had to calm him down. That lady has terrible tact. In high school, freshman year, I developed into a bit of a pyromaniac. I absolutely loved burning random things. IDKY. Well, my parents caught on and forbade me from burning anything, so I had to do it in secret. One day I decided to try and burn an orange. I took it into the bathroom. I think I stuffed some stuff inside it and I tried to burn it. Obviously it didn't burn very well and I ended up giving up. I, however, didn't want to throw the burnt orange in trash, so I decided it would flush easy enough. After all, I had taken bigger shoots than this orange. It seemed to go down fine, and I went about my day. Well, an hour later my sister's friend came over and clogged the crap out of our toilet. She was about my age and decently attractive, so I thought it'd be funny to tease her about it. My parents had to call a plumber, and dumbfounded he told my parents he found a burnt orange. They were pee. But the worst part is my sister told her friend why the toilet had been clogged, and I was forever known as Orange Boy. I mean this in the nicest way possible, but boy, you must be retarded, haha. Great story. This happened on Monday. I went in to get blood tests done. I don't fear needles, but something about blood tests always makes me dizzy to the point where I nearly faint. I think it's the idea of them extracting blood from my body, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, this nurse was clearly new and couldn't find a vein. This is normal, but experienced nurses usually can in the end. This one just kinda panicked and stabbed me anywhere. So then it took ages for the blood to come out. She kept whispering, "Oh, it's taking ages to come out. It's really slow," etc. in my ear. I started going dizzy, but I tried to stick it out as it's usually over before I actually have time to faint. Nope, my ears blocked, so I said I don't feel good and she had to stop and lay me down, etc. After laying there briefly I felt awkward, so I said okay, I feel better, and got up so my mum could get her blood taken. I sat in a seat next to her. I felt a bit off, then suddenly felt a bit sick. Then I was sick everywhere, all over my mum, all over the nurse, all over myself. I wanted to not tell anyone, obviously, and when I got home my brother asked, "So, how did it go?" I rolled my eyes and said it was fine with a little smile to give the impression that it was no big deal. Then he saw my jeans, my puke covered jeans, and I guess then he smelled the vomit, too. He grinned and said, "So you were sick?" Then as my smile fell he walked away laughing. Dang it. One time I went to Florida when I was 14 by myself to stay with some family down there for the summer. I was super paranoid about pooping in other places besides my own house. So I was holding this crap in for like a week and a half, and when I finally went, it was in my aunt's house and I clogged the toilet with 2 huge logs. I was so embarrassed, but I couldn't get them to flush, so then my aunt came in and tried to plunge it and the crap came back flying up and got on her. I was mad embarrassed. Oh lord. The classroom pee debacle. When I was about 12 I saw a niche in the school playground market, and I, the bright little turnip that I was, decided to print off some pretty hardcore pee pictures to sell at school. Like full on super macro close-ups of a pee in the V. I, however, am not a savvy businessman. For some reason I decided to sell these shameful images in Ray class. For the uninitiated, that's religious education. Of course I was caught by my hyper-religious teacher, who was utterly astonished that little old me would debase her and the restive female kind with my little venture. I tried to blame it on my then and current friend, but she smelled the perversion in my sweat. She told the head told my parents cut me off from the internet, and I haven't looked them in the eye for the last decade or so. I still really like pee though. When I was 16, I was curious about masturbation, and so I went to the AOL chat rooms for tips. One nice guy told me a long candle, so one night I tried it. It just hurt, so I just put the candle behind my TV. Months later, my mom was in my room cleaning talking to me when she found the candle. Well, I'm horrible at keeping cool, and so when she asked what's the candle doing in my room, I started freaking and was like, "What? I didn't do anything with that. Don't touch that." My mom looked at me, laughed and told me, "Haha, I just thought you wanted to light a candle. Good for you for trying." That's hilarious, hahaha XD. At uni, I'm masturbating. Don't lock door. Friend walks in, grab towel and pretend I've just had a shower. When I was young, my brother and I shared a bedroom and a bunk bed. He had the bottom, I had the top. One day when I was very young, maybe 8, my little brother did something that made me mad, and so I crawled under our bed and scrawled "Little brother is stooped" on the wall where no one would ever see it. Fast forward to 5 years later when we're moving out of the house. My parents caught me when the bed was removed. When I was 8, some chewing gum got stuck to my hair, so I went to the toilet and cut a large freaking part of my hair off with a cursed nail clipper. Gotten real good smacking by Pap when he was combing my hair for daily school next week. Pocket pool, the scratching part. First week in America school, my hygiene isn't up to standard yet. Long story short, trying to scratch my balls, and well, my teacher calls me out on it. Funny thing is, I did not the joke until 3 years later. I don't the joke now. I had explosive diarrhea and pooped my pants in the realtor's office when my parents were looking for high-priced real estate. I cleaned myself in the bathroom and the toilet had a warning about toilet paper, so I tossed it. It apparently smelled right away and only got worse when my parents talked to the realtor as I was cleaning myself. One day after school, I was 16 or 17, my girlfriend and I went back to my house to get it on. School was out around 3:15 and I had to work at 4. I worked in a shop my dad ran. About 3:30 we are getting with it and I hear the front door of the house. I hide my girl in the stairway to the attic, throw on some shorts and go downstairs to the kitchen, shirt off and pretending like I'm getting dressed for work. My dad had stopped by the house for some reason. There was awkward small talk and a couple minutes later he left and said he was headed to the shop and would see me there. As soon as he left I bolted up to get my girl. We abort the fricking Great Line A and both get dressed and rush out to my car. As I'm pulling out of the driveway I look in my rearview mirror and see a familiar van coming up the street behind me. There's Dad. He knew crap was up and circled the block waiting for me. Nailed us. Dead to rights. Took my girl home and went to work. Dad was there and crap was awkward. Few words were spoken other than him saying, "Son, don't lie to me. I've been there, done that. I hope you're being safe." "Yes Dad, you don't have to worry. I'm sorry." We never spoke of it again. And that's the first time I got caught in an amorous act. When I was 3, I pooped my pants and hid the poo under my bed in shame. My mom found it. I was at boarding school and was jacking it in my room when I was on a study period. Suddenly my door started to open so I quickly pulled up my trousers and underwear and stood up. No idea why I did this, and my house mistress walked in. But it was too late. I was already jizzing in my trousers. I stood there and looked her in the eyes as I orgasmed in my trousers. Waves of pleasure racked my dong, and waves of soul-melting embarrassment crashed over my very being. I was 14 and on my period. I didn't like tampons so I wore pads. I was running with a friend across a parking lot, and it fell down my leg and onto the pavement. My friend heard it hit and asked me if it was mine. I tried to say it wasn't but she never believed me. She did the honorable thing and picked it up with a tissue then threw it away. TLDR, my friend picked up my bloody pad. Back in the 2nd grade, my friend had started dating this girl he had a crush on. I was friends with both of them, so using an old box from one of my dad's home design software boxes, I made them a gift. I wrapped up the box with some fancy tape and put a note I wrote inside of it. Now, I had just learned the concept of fricking and I hadn't fully understood it yet. So on this note I had written, "If you love her you can have a one-way, you can have a two-way, you can have a three-way," and so on and so forth up until about 12 or so. I thought this would be a great present for them and that they would love it. I wrote a note and stuck it to the front that said "To the happy couple." I then proceeded to try to hide this box behind our small crappy printer and thought that I had done a great job. I then went to bed and thought nothing of it. Then about an hour later, my dad called me out of bed and asked me what the box in his hand was. He found the box and then opened it and showed the awful note to my mom. My parents also must have thought that I was going to give it to them, since it wouldn't exactly cross your mind that your 6-7-year-old would be giving it one of their friends. TLDR, made present for friend and new girlfriend. Added overly obscene note in 2nd grader talk. Parents find said note. Parents think it was for them. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.